I don't know how many people were there. 5,000 people. You know, it was like Woodstock. People were parked and they were just abandoned their cars and walked up the hill with their coolers.
It had rained that morning, and when we get there, you know, people are starting to come, like just materialize out of the woods. It was very surreal. A beautiful setting.
It was actually Natalie's suggestion. She said, well, let's get some people together and clean the river. Because she'd been out walking the river with Dave Tidquist. They would just go down on an Saturday afternoon someplace, pull in, and just walk along the Chattacoin River. And she said, well, let's clean up the river. So I started calling people, emailing people, did some interviews on radio and stuff, and said, yeah, we need a couple hundred people. You know, we mapped it out. We had it all set, ready to go. We had the waste disposal company ready to go, and these volunteers showed up, like 200, and one of them was Larry Griffis. This guy stuck out like a sore thumb. Tall and thin with these white mutton chops and a sailor, you know, an old-time sailor hat on, captain's hat. And I said, I thought this guy's got to be interesting. And I said, who are you? He told me what he did, you know, a sculptor and a painter, and from East Otto, and that he had the sculpture park. He said, you should come up and see it, Steve. I said, okay. And we played, after that litter pickup, we played a surprise concert at downtown, and Larry stuck around and gave me his phone number and stuff. He said, you should come up. So I got Dennis and Natalie, maybe Rob. I don't know if Rob went or not, but we drove out, and he took us on a tour of the property in his 8-person ATV, you know, moon thing, you know, that little ATV he had, and we had a whirlwind tour of that place, and we're just wowed by it. You know, took us over all 400 acres. You know, we took an afternoon to do it. Then we went up and swam in the pond, and he made us dinner. And we're like, okay, what do you want us to do? You know, okay. He said, let's play a show. We got to build a stage. And I said, okay.
So when they asked us to play, it was really exciting. We were in the middle of rehearsing and writing Our Time in Eden. And we knew that it was the last record we were going to make with Natalie, because she told us before that record that this was the last record she was going to do with us. So in a way, that 91 there was the beginning of the last phase of the Maniacs, when we went out to Griffis Sculpture Park. You know, we had played with the Grateful Dead at Rich Stadium. We played Royal Albert Hall. We played all these big places. And we're playing this little puny stage with this little tent over it. And there's no PA. The PA guys didn't want to come because it had been raining.
The night before, I showed up at the sculpture park with my sister Leanne, and we camped out on the hill up above where the stage was. And there was an incredible storm that night. It was a Saturday night, an incredible. I think we were doing. There might have been a few other tents up there, but it was dangerous. Lightning and thunder and wind. Our tent was blowing flat over top of us. You know, we were on our backs like this, watching the lightning through the tent, and all night long. You know, it finally calmed down, and the tent popped back up, and we fell asleep. But in the morning, we walked down to the stage, and there was no PA. And there was no PA, and it was a Sunday, and I think, you know, this might have been before cell phones. Maybe people had cell phones, a few. We couldn't get a hold of the PA company. They thought, as far as I can tell, they thought the gig was canceled because of the storm. So our sound engineer, Oliver Dow, and a few of the Griffis boys went into Ellicottville and ransacked clubs and bars in Ellicottville and put a PA together and brought it back in her pickup trucks and pieced it together. And Oliver got just enough stuff. I don't know what it sounded like, but apparently it was good. And he cobbled together a PA and made it work. And it took him like 3 hours to do it, so we were behind schedule. Fortunately, it took everyone 3 hours to walk up the hill with their coolers.
It was so, it was such a makeshift, interesting, crazy day. You know, when they thought they'd get 1,000 people, they got like 3,000 people there or something. It was unbelievable. 5,000. Yeah, it was like 5,000 people. It was like unbelievable. And, you know, the stage was, so it was just an amazing, amazing experience to be out there. It was like, you know, hey kids, let's put on a show. And that was the feeling, you know, after having done all this corporate stuff and fought with record companies, and to be able to just, hey, let's put on a show. And out in this weird sculpture park with Larry and his whole family, all such great people. We played great. The atmosphere was fantastic. You know, it's like families. We love playing for families. When you get out like that, you see the little kids, and they're not afraid to get up and dance and look silly, and they're dancing, and everybody was there. It was a wonderful, wonderful time, and special time for everybody, because it's a special place, that Sculpture Park. Larry was a tremendous guy, a fantastic artist, and put those things together. It's really you know, it's quintessential Western New York. You know, crazy artists gathered together out in the hills to have a blowout in the middle of the summer. We're really looking forward to it.